the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Wednesday, January 22nd. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. Other than a layer of high clouds from Point Conception and southward, mostly clear skies continue to dominate the majority of California this morning as high pressure and Santa Ana winds remain in place. Expect today to be full of sunshine for most areas, along with comfortable temperatures, except with continued breezy winds throughout the Southland. Santa Ana winds remain in control of the weather this morning, though luckily not nearly as strong as they were Monday and early Tuesday. The current wind observations this morning indicate widespread northeasterly winds gusting 25 to 35 miles an hour across the typical wind-prone areas of Southern California. A few of the favored ridges and canyons are gusting near 50 miles an hour, but these higher gusts are more isolated. These winds are expected to continue through most of today, then are likely to strengthen tonight through to Thursday, with an increase in upper-level support in offshore gradients. During this period of stronger winds, northeast winds gusting in the realm of 35 to 55 miles an hour can be expected over the wind-prone corridors of Southern California. Higher gusts of at least 60 to 70 miles an hour are possible for the southern mountains. Winds will then taper off Thursday evening with just lingering breeziness across the higher terrain into Friday morning. After that, we'll be done with Santa Ana winds for a while. It will continue to be extremely dry today, thanks to the advection of very cold and dry air from the Intermountain West that is settling in across Southern California. There were pretty much no recoveries in humidity last night for a lot of areas, so most of the region is starting off the day exceptionally dry. Once again, minimums will be in the single digits over much of the area, particularly for the wind-prone spots. Extremely poor to non-existent recoveries are once again expected tonight, and then tomorrow will also be extremely dry on similar levels to today. As a result of the seemingly never-ending Santa Ana winds and critically dry conditions, red flag warnings remain in effect for the majority of Southern California through Thursday evening. Despite the lull in winds for much of today, critical fire weather conditions will remain in play with the extremely dry conditions, continued breeziness, and critically dry fuels. After Thursday, we finally get a much-needed break from fire weather concerns. With weaker offshore flow and strengthening high pressure, temperatures will be on the rise through Thursday. Check out the forecast high temperatures by the time we get to Thursday. The warmest Southern California valleys are likely to rise into the mid to upper 70s, with even a couple low 80s sprinkled in. For reference, these temperatures are around 10 to 15 degrees above normal. The interior regions will rise into the mid 60s, which is around 5 to 10 degrees above normal. We will get a much needed and very much welcome change in the weather as we get to the end of this week and into the weekend. High pressure over the western U.S. will weaken late this week, and a deep trough of low pressure will drop southward from Canada into California, merging with an area of low pressure off the Southern California coast. Due to the merger of these systems, the resulting area of low pressure will set up much farther west than the last several systems and will pull in some moisture from the Pacific. As a result, it will bring a return of cooler weather, increasing humidity, and a switch to onshore winds. In addition, there will be precipitation chances as well, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Friday will be a transition day for our weather as we exit this extremely dry Santa Ana wind regime and move into a much cooler and wetter pattern for the weekend. There may be some light offshore winds lingering through the morning across the higher terrain. Otherwise, winds will return to onshore by the afternoon. This will bring improvements to humidity across the coastal plains. Though the mountains and inland areas will remain very dry, with minimums remaining in the single digits and teens, as those areas will need another day to moisten up. The onshore flow will also lead to a decent cooling across the coastal plains as well, with highs returning to the low to mid 70s for the warmest Southern California valleys. Periods of scattered showers with very low snow levels appear likely for most of the region through the weekend, and potentially extending into Monday and even Tuesday. There still remains a bit of uncertainty as to the exact timing, but there is increasing confidence that wet weather is making at least a brief return. Current projections continue to indicate this will be a primarily beneficial precipitation event with light to moderate rainfall totals spread over a few days, rather than heavy rain all at once that would bring flooding concerns. As of right now, the forecast remains on track with rainfall totals in the realm of a quarter to half inch for most of the coastal and valley areas, and up to an inch for the favored south-facing foothills. Even though these totals seem low, this event will greatly reduce the fire danger for an extended duration that will give everyone a breather. However, with this area of low pressure being so cold and moving directly overhead, There is a small risk for isolated thunderstorms with brief heavy rainfall that could lead to flooding and debris flow impacts to our fresh burn scars. We will continue to monitor this potential, but right now, the risk appears to be very slim. Snow levels will be as low as 3,000 to 4,000 feet, with the potential for significant snowfall totals for our mountains. Large fire potential will lower to more elevated levels today from the extreme levels from earlier this week as winds become weaker, but extremely dry conditions continue. Stronger winds on Thursday will lead to additional high-risk conditions with a slight uptick in fire potential. Fire danger will begin to ramp down on Friday, then will be greatly reduced for an extended duration thanks to the wet weather expected this weekend. However, rainfall rates will need to be monitored for the potential of flooding and debris flows across the fresh burn scars. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Thursday, January 23rd. Have a fantastic day and please stay safe.